Hello once again, Bakugan Brawlers. So, in case you weren't aware, I got a new camera. Looks a lot better. It's got a microphone attachment to it. I don't need to use this thing anymore. Usually this was just hanging up right on this thing, and now I don't need it. And it's nice, and I'm happy, and yeah, that's what I got for Christmas. But in other news, in case you didn't know, the first 10 episodes of Bakugan Battle Planet are out. You can watch it right now. The way you do it is by going onto the Cartoon Network website or the Cartoon Network app and typing in your cable information. And yeah, so some people can do that. I could, thankfully. I just bummed it off my parents. So here, I'm going to tell you what I think, how I feel, my review on the first 10 episodes of Bakugan Battle Planet. Now here's the thing, no spoilers. For now. I'll tell you when the spoilers come, but for the first part of this, I'm just gonna give you general opinion, general ideas, and then I'm gonna pause and say, hey, spoilers are coming. So, first things first. The animation. Oh god, it's so much better. The animation is pretty. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't even really need to say this. I said it in previous videos, but it's animated by TMS. It's all done in Japan, just like last time. And honestly, when I saw that there was gonna be 3D models for the action scenes, I was a little scared. I'm like, ooh, 3D, 2D mix? That is very easy to mess up when you're on a budget, like most anime is. And I'm gonna call this an anime because it is. It's an anime. Let's be real here. But honestly, the 3D models actually blend in really well with the 2D. Like, you can still tell they're 3D. You can still see like there's some shading that's like, it's not cell shaded. It has that gradient of a shade, and it's like, that kind of looks awkward, but it still looks good for the majority of it. It blends in pretty well. And if it doesn't, it's during an action scene when everything is really cool and fast-paced and we don't care. So honestly, all the money that they dumped into animating, I love it. It's fantastic. I adore it. Second is the story. I was gonna say characters, but no, let's go to the story first, because that's more important. You see, a lot of the episodes are one-shot filler episodes that aren't really that important, and I'm thinking, ew, but then I realized, hey, this is gonna go on Cartoon Network. They want episodes that they can just play at any time they want without fear of a kid going, I have no idea what's happening, click away. And they just standalone episodes. So I honestly thought all 10 episodes at the very beginning was just gonna be that, and we're just gonna plow through that. It wasn't, and I'm like, thank you. During the 10 episodes, they actually dropped little bits of, hey, here's some hints of what we expect to do later down the line, and I'm like, hoorah! And the hints that they dropped shows great promise, and I'm really excited for the show now. I was originally just gonna go, yeah, this is gonna be a show I'll watch casually. It's for kids. I mean, some shows that they do for kids end up being a lot better than everyone expects them to, like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and actually, My Little Pony is on that list too. That actually got pretty good along the way. Story, I'm excited for it. We haven't seen too much, but we've seen enough to where my appetite is yearning for more. Third is the characters. They're fun. They're 10-year-olds, 10 to 11 to 12-year-olds, and I think it's enjoyable. I like the characters. Dan is... I have the fear that people are gonna think Dan is annoying, because yeah, he is a little bit, not too much, but the point is that he's a 10-year-old kid that's full of himself, and so of course he's going to be a little annoying, because the idea is that you start a character imperfect or flawed, because later down the line you want them to grow, you want them to improve themselves, and if they're just perfect from the get-go, then it's boring, and that's why you see a lot of these characters in cartoons be annoying at first. Like Akko from Little Witch Academia. She was really annoying, but I knew that going in that the point of it is for her to grow as a person. And that's the thing I don't get about a lot of people who watch cartoons nowadays, or just shows in general. They just quit because this person's annoying, and I'm like, that's the point. Why are you walking away? You haven't actually given it a chance. So, next time you see an annoying character, probably continue for a few more episodes. I mean, they literally had one episode where it was Dan was thinking that he's all that, and thinking that he wants to be like the leader of the awesome ones, and then in the exact same episode he realized, wow, I've been a jerk, and that's the idea for probably the rest of the season. And hopefully he has more character arcs, because that character arc happened in one episode, and it's like, whoop, done. And it's like, I was hoping for a woo, done kind of deal. Okay, so now is the point where there's spoilers. So if you haven't seen the first 10 episodes, you might want to click away, might want to go on to Cartoon Network, might want to... I don't know, you can keep watching if you want, don't get angry at me, but this is my warning. So let's talk about the episode where Dan and Winton go into this abandoned mansion and go into the underground, go underground, and all of a sudden their Bakugan can use attacks that they usually shouldn't be able to. So we know that two worlds collide on the inside, and Vestroia and Earth are now one and the same, but we don't know exactly how that works, and we did see that portal open up behind Dan and Winton, and how it closed, and that looks very reminiscent to the original Bakugan series when they actually traveled to Vestroia, or just some dimensional hopping stuff. So my theory, here's a theory fun part. My theory is that the cores that we saw in the original show, like the silent core, is inside the Earth, and that's what happened with the Great Collision on Earth. That was one of the cores of Vestroia burrowing itself inside Earth, and the closer they get to the center of the Earth, the closer they are to Vestroia and their natural source of power, and that's why they're able to use their powers as normal. Now let's go into that one episode with the Golden Bakugan, the Aurelis Bakugan, even though they didn't actually say it's Aurelis, even though we're like, we know it's Aurelis, we've been paying attention to all the product and what you've been showing us. So that, I got some serious God Pokemon vibes from it, maybe God Bakugan vibe, you know, like Ho-Oh? It feels like Ho-Oh. Here's my questions that I can't figure out even a theory to. What is its significance? Why is it important? Is it a god-ish or deific entity kind of thing? Why did it only talk to Leah? Because that was weird. You'd think it would talk to, like, Dan, because he was born on the Great Collision. Just talking to Leah just seems a little odd? My guess is that that's what happens when a Bakugan evolves far enough, because we already saw in the 10th episode, Magnus's Nilius evolved, and evolving is a thing that's pretty common in Bakugan. I'm guessing, my guess, purely a guess, purely theory, once a Bakugan evolves far enough, they become a Golden Bakugan. And I don't know, that's my guess. I think it's cool. I don't really think it's true. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I like the idea. If later down the line we see an Aurelis Dragonoid, and he becomes basically a god, that'd be cool. Let's talk about Benton Dusk. Let's go into specific characters. So Benton Dusk, we know he's bad. Like, we can just tell. He's got that trademark evil vibes from him. But what is his goal? Because they didn't really explain that in the show. They just said, ooh, here's a bad guy. Whoa. Benton Dusk does not want to capture Bakugan. He'd already be doing that. It's clear he has the money. My guess is that since Philomena is already capturing Bakugan, I'm going to guess that they aren't, like, rivals in like, a business sense. They're probably rivals personally. But my guess is that Benton wants to travel to Vestroia or find the core of the Bakugan's power. Because Philomena wants to capture the Bakugan, and she's trying to gain power that way. Benton is probably trying to go about it a different way and find the source of all the Bakugan power and take control of that. That's my guess. That'd be the smart move. If I was an evil villain, that's what I would do. That would also explain why he's paying people off to lure Dan and the Awesome Ones underground to get closer to test his theories for him. And it would just make sense, like, stay away from all the dirty work and let them do the hard work for you. Now let's go into Magnus. Magnus, I thought, was a little lame at first. He was cool for, like, in the first 2 episodes, and then he started doing this Team Rocket knockoff joke kind of thing where he dressed up slightly different, and oh my gosh, the main characters don't recognize him. Ha 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 ha. But then we saw with him and his sister in the last-ish episode. I think that was the very last episode. We saw that, and we know his sister's sick, and if you read the Twitter posts that the main Bakugan channel is making, the one they made for Magnus, says that the whole point he's with Animus, he's working for Philomena, is that he wants to help his sister. And that's his personal goal. And I'm like, okay, cool. But here's my theory on the sister. Because it was really weird how we saw the sister is able to just, like, astral project herself to Dan and say, hey, please don't fight my brother. And I'm like, okay, were you born with that? How did you acquire these abilities? My guess is that she is sick because she's slowly absorbing some of the Bakugan power from, like, the core of the earth. She kind of got a little bit too much of that, and that's how she's able to have these awesome powers. And so Philomena actually wants the sister. Like, she doesn't even care about saving the sister, she just wants the sister for what she can do. And so she's using Magnus as an excuse to keep the sister close to her, and is just lying through her teeth saying, oh yeah, sure, I'll help your sister, when really she's experimenting on her and trying to deduce what's going on with her. That's my guess. So here's my impression of Leah. I like Leah, even though it's kind of weird. Okay, so here's something you probably noticed and thought was off. If you look at Leah's mom, Veronica, I think that's her name? Leah's mom, I forget her name. If you look at her card art, she has brown hair. If you look at her in the show, she has blue hair. And I actually asked them, like, what's up with some of these cards? And they told me some of the designs on the cards weren't finalized before the show. And so some of the designs on the cards are gonna look slightly different because they're like, hey, let's make the card art. And then later on the line, they're like, wait, shouldn't she have blue hair? And they changed it, but they still had the artwork for the cards. They're like, well, we're not going to change that. We don't want to pay for another piece of artwork. And so they just kept it. And so if you're wondering why that's a thing, that's why. That's the weird wibbly-wobbly, not really coinciding with each other thing. In terms of everyone, in terms of the main three, I kind of like Leah the best, just because she's got the most spunk, she's got the most drive, and, you know, she works a camera all the time, and, you know, with me, YouTube, camera, thing, that's kind of what I do. I relate to that. Dan, I'm not too crazy about. I like his personality, I like him in general, but there's not really a lot to go off of. His character is a little flat right now, and all the characters are flat right now. They haven't really had time to really expand on them, so it's not really that, it's not bad. It's not really that, and it's not really an issue. So when I say, like, I'm okay, I'm not really that excited about Dan, I fully expect that to change in the future. Same thing with Winton. I really liked the episode where Winton and Trox were, like, arguing with each other, and you could just, and they had a little thing of Mind Winton popping out of his head going, hey, I shouldn't have said that, and teaching kids, hey, you should probably, like, be honest with your emotions when you're talking to your friends. And which honestly is, like, an issue I see very often, and I'm glad they addressed it. In terms of that ending of the show, pouring the lesson onto the kids kind of annoyance thing, out of all of them, I'm like, okay, I'm glad you did that one. Glad you did that one. Shun so far is boring. Shun is boring. I don't want to say it, but he is, and I hope he has his own character arc somewhere down the line, because he just suddenly was just like, hey, I want to join the Brawlers, okay? And it doesn't really make sense, because, I mean, if they're popular internet stars, because they're not, YouTube isn't technically canon on the show, but they're basically YouTubers. If they're basically YouTubers, they would have a ton of people asking to join the awesome ones. And letting one person in just is not a smart move, because then everyone would think, there's a chance I could get in too. I gotta go and leave my country and try to join the awesome ones, which is just gonna lead to a whole new sort of problems, and I think it just kind of sent the wrong message. In terms of the story and bringing him into the show, into the group, it works, but I still don't like it. Especially since I have a ton of people online going, can I be your friend? And I'm like, listen guys, you're strangers online to me. I love you, but you gotta understand how this looks for me. You could just be trying to fool me and try to kill me in my sleep. So this is more of a personal experience kind of review for Shun. That was done poorly. That was done really poorly. That was bad. So point is, the show so far is really good. It's surprisingly good. Everything's gonna be a lot slower in the show because we have 52 episodes to get through, and if you're used to watching anime, it's usually like 13 episodes and then you're done. So this is gonna be a marathon. It's not gonna be a sprint. So prepare yourselves. And it's fun because if you want to enjoy Bakugan for a longer amount of time, then more episodes for one season is nice. Even if they're like not that good, at least you get something for the week. So I'm enjoying that part. And that's basically everything I have to say about Bakugan. I like the first 10 episodes. It has a lot of promise, and I'm hoping that they expand on the characters a lot more. And on that gold Bakugan. When are we gonna see Diamond Bakugan? I want to see more Diamond Bakugan. Is that gonna be a thing in the show, or is that just a thing with the toys? Huh. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful and keep playing.